This isn't the forest guardian's usual haunt. Every other day of the year he stands guard over the huddle of trees in the Montrose Point Bird Sanctuary, along Lake Michigan, where the waters stink as rich as chocolate to his bone-dry nose. But every year in June, on Kupala night, he makes the journey to St. Stanislaus Kostka Church in Westtown to guard the fern flower as it blooms. He doesn't like it here. He doesn't like how his hooves sound on the wood floor, sharp and echoing. He doesn't like the ceiling that blocks his view of the stars. And he doesn't like religious spaces in general, the obsession with wrong and right, purity and pollution, modernity and eternity. It doesn't make sense to him. But this is a natural place for deep magic, because it was bought at a great price. People came from the old country to the new to earn their bread, and they scraped the very bottoms of their wallets to build this place for themselves, though their wallets were not very deep. That kind of sacrifice creates a debt, and there's nothing magic likes better than the great hollow of a debt. And so, magic nestled here, heedless of what the adherents of this particular religion would think of it. It draws the Leshy here, too. The sanctuary is still and silent. The Leshy tilts his horned head back to look at the mural painted on the dome above him. All the host of heaven, perched on clouds, stare back down at him. The sanctuary doors open, and when the Leshy lowers his head, a mortal man stands at the end of the aisle. Unearthly smoke curls around the man's black boots, the remnants of a sacred fire. There are many sacred fires lit on Kupala night. This man must have leapt across one to receive its blessing. Likewise, there's a spray of white flowers, wormwood, tucked into one of his buttonholes, no doubt plucked from Avila's crown of greenery. If the Leshy's senses hadn't already told him this man wasn't ordinary, those two blessings would have done so. He came prepared for the task at hand. And there is only one task that could possibly be at hand: plucking the fern flower when it blooms. The man stops at a distance from the Leshy and holds his hands behind his back like a soldier at ease. He looks wary but not frightened, and that's stranger than all the rest of him. He only comes up to the Leshy's breastbone, and he's half as broad. The Leshy has the body of a man stretched beyond its capacity, long arms that end in big, clawed hands, sturdy split hooves, and a stag's skull as a head. His staff is the size of a sapling. Moss grows on his broad, flat shoulders, and flowers bloom in his eye sockets. "Turn back," the Leshy says. His voice is like a tree tilting in the wind. "My lord Leshy," the mortal man says to him with a quick bow, "there are rumors of the fernflower in Edgebrook Woods and in all the parks that border Lake Michigan." "Then what reason can he possibly have for coming here?" the Leshy asks. The man tilts his head. His hair is the gray-brown color as the tree bark in the Leshy's usual sanctuary. His eyes are the same shade, as if painted with the same brush. "One thing all the rumors have in common is you," the man says. "So I followed you here." The Leshy stands in silence. He remembers very little about his journey from the Montrose Point Bird Sanctuary earlier that day. Cacophonous streets crowded with metal and plastic, air thickened by exhaust. The sky crowded by buildings. He was guided only by his own sense of purpose. A holy kind of purpose, he thinks, with a mural of the heavenly host still staring down at him.